Okay, which way is the opposition headed? And ahead of 2024, can one imagine or think of a united opposition, or is that really a myth? Joining us right now is Raghav Chadha from the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, Aam Aadmi Party, Raghav, is a new kid on the block, is in expansion mode from Delhi to Punjab, the victory that you steered, to Himachal, where you're trying to make some footprints, to Gujarat. And this is a question that I would like to ask you, does the Aam Aadmi Party have a plan independent of other members in the opposition? Or do you also, when you are ideating, think of a larger strategy or an alliance with other parties?
Look, first of all, alliances and coming together of different political outfits is merely the mathematical way of looking at things. What I certainly believe is that to defeat the Bharatiya Janata Party, which has now become an extremely significant, formidable election machine, a well-oiled election machine, what we require is a new vocabulary of politics, a new idea of politics, a leader with a credible face to take on the might of the BJP and on Prime Minister Modi. I think that is what is lacking and that is what is required, which I personally feel is a big void as far as the opposition at the national level is concerned, and that void to some extent Aam Aadmi Party has the ability to fill.
But Raghav, here is the thing. In Telangana, a K. Chandrasekhar Rao and his party would feel that his is a party which has it in it, what it takes to fill in that void. In West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee will think to herself and her party that she is the one who can, steer the opposition ship. And M.K. Stalin would think the same about his party. The point that I'm trying to make is that it's a to each its own model. And then where does the Congress lie in this dynamic? And this is where the problem is. And I would like to draw your attention to these pictures that came in from Patna, which we will run, where there was visible discomfort between Nitish Kumar and Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao on questions of opposition unity.
Yes. So, two things, Sanket. As far as the Congress is concerned, Congress is perhaps, the most convenient opposition for BJP. I have said this again and I have no hesitation in saying it once more on your show, that Rahul Gandhi is the biggest asset of Prime Minister Modi. It is most convenient for the BJP to show a Modi versus Rahul contest, because in that case the BJP wins hands down. But the moment you put the BJP in a challenge with a formidable force like the Aam Aadmi Party, for example, that is when the real tests of democracy, of politics
happens. That's why I'm asking you this question. Why I think Mamata I can't can have the same assessment for her party. K. Chandrasekhar Rao can have the same assessment for his party. A DMK's M.K. Stalin can have the same assessment. So where do you all get together, or is this a to each its own
of course.
assessment?
I'll tell you. Look, notwithstanding all the very well established political leaders that you just named, I can certainly tell you why I think, as a member of the Aam Aadmi Party, that Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal has got what it takes to take on the might of the BJP. And I'll give you 4 or 5 quick points.
Sure.
Point number 1, Aam Aadmi Party is no more a regional party. It is now a national force to reckon with in every sense of the term. All non-Congress opposition formations, Sanket, are formations, political formations that have an aspect of regionalism in it. For example, the Trinamool Congress, which is very dear to us. Mamata Di is personally very dear to me, but that political party, of course, has an element of regionalism, the Bengal Asmita, etc. Let's take the example of, the TRS. That is a party that came at the forefront with the bifurcation of Andhra. So therefore, there is an element of regionalism there as well. But Aam Aadmi Party is a political party which is now a force at the national level to reckon with no regionalism elements in it, number 1. Number 2, Arvind Kejriwal is a pan-India face, and Aam Aadmi Party that finds its birth in a national movement, the Lokpal movement, that had a national footprint which caught the public imagination of the entire country. And that is, you know, the inception point of the Aam Aadmi Party. Point number 3, Aam Aadmi Party, unlike other political parties, Sanket, does not have a past baggage which most political parties, Congress and non-Congress political parties in the opposition have. Point number 4, I'll come to that. Point number 4, Aam Aadmi Party understands and perhaps, I would say, has perhaps even mastered the new age electioneering that most other political parties apart from the BJP haven't really understood and mastered. Point number 5, Aam Aadmi Party gives an alternative model of governance to counter the BJP's model of crony capitalism and divisive politics. And lastly, point number 7, Arvind Kejriwal provides a model of economic upliftment where the cost of living of an ordinary citizen reduces, you have more money in your pocket to spend, and therefore it leads to economic upliftment. The BJP or Prime Minister Modi, on the other hand, have no model of economic upliftment for the poor or for the people of this country. I think these are the 4-5 points that really, distinguish Aam Aadmi Party from other political parties.
My only thing is, Raghav, of all the things that you have listed out here,
we have the fire in our belly.
That you have listed out here, Raghav, the one thing that has caught my fancy is when you say that you have learnt the art of fighting and winning elections. You modernize the process, you understand it well. Because all the other points that you have mentioned, trust me, every regional party will say the same or put the same to its credit. So I want to know from you, what
add one more point to that.
Yeah.
Sanket, add one more point to that, which is that we have the fire in our belly and the grit, the perseverance and the guts to take on the BJP. Let's take the recent example.
I'll give you an example where this is proving to be counterproductive in the opposition space. The Aam Aadmi Party, the allegation against your party is that you are not taking on the BJP, you are basically occupying the territory that belonged to the Congress party. I'll give you an example. The Gandhinagar polls. In Gandhinagar polls, the BJP retained its vote share, whereas the Congress's vote share, you ate into it, and thus giving an advantage to the BJP. That's the allegation. And the allegation is that you will do the same this time around to the BJP in Gujarat. The same thing. Basically weaken the Congress to benefit the BJP. How do you respond?
No. Okay. First of all, we are not competing with other opposition parties. We are competing with the BJP. And let's be very clear about that. As far as this, this misconception that Aam Aadmi Party only eats into the Congress's vote share, how Congress was in government in Delhi and now AAP runs the government, how Congress was in power in Punjab and now Aam Aadmi Party is running the administration in Punjab, and therefore AAP is eating into Congress's vote share. This is a misconception. In Delhi, our first big election that we fought, where we won we got a full majority, that is the 2015 Vidhan Sabha elections in Delhi. We never fought that election against the Congress. We fought that election against the BJP. BJP had 32 MLAs. AAP had 28 MLAs in the house. Our principal challenger in Delhi was the BJP. In the 2020 Delhi elections again, we fought the BJP in Delhi. We never fought the Congress. Congress is an irrelevant, inconsequential political force as far as politics of Delhi is concerned. And therefore, I make this point that when AAP enters a new territory or a new political jurisdiction, we eat into the votes of the Congress, we eat into the votes of the BJP, and we eat into the votes of the fence-sitters. So therefore, it is absolutely wrong to say that it is AAP that is eating into the Congress's vote share. However, having said that, I do fundamentally believe that time has come for AAP to become the national and the natural replacement of the Congress party. Congress is too old, about to retire, should retire, and it will be in the benefit of India's democracy if Congress retires.
Will this mission which you are on, which you have so articulated right now, be done by 2024? You see, you do not have that national footprint, and the Congress's national footprint has not been erased just yet. Okay? So in a situation like this, with you entering and the Congress trying to revive itself, does this then become some sort of an advantage to the BJP? And do you ever see yourself engaging in a sort of an arrangement where you see a larger bouquet of the opposition coming together? Or is this pretty much your ekla cholo fight?
Sanket, first of all, I'm pretty sure a similar question was posed to the then opposition when the mighty Mrs. Indira Gandhi was, a powerful prime minister in the 70s. And when the atrocities inflicted upon the people of India by the then Indira Gandhi government came to a point where a people's movement brought people from across the country, cutting across political ideologies, cutting across caste and religion-based identity groups into one formation which defeated the then Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, who was perhaps even more powerful than the current Prime Minister with a completely compromised judiciary in her back pocket.
And yet Indira Gandhi came back in 77.
When you could have... Oh, that's a different story. That's the
point I'm making.
Because of the flaws of the then formation.
A meteoric rise and then a meteoric fall is the message that I get from the 75 or the 77 model that you're making. Sorry, I got the dates wrong. She was uprooted in 77 and then she came back.
All I can say is that all of us have read our history and we won't repeat the mistakes that were made in the past. But I must say that if in the 70s, somebody like a Jayaprakash Narayan can evolve from a non-violent grassroots movement against the mighty Congress.
Is that what you are comparing?
Is
that a parallel that you are
vocabulary of politics can come about?
Is Arvind Kejriwal the Lok Nayak Jayaprakash of 22?
Arvind Kejriwal is Arvind Kejriwal and I do hope that he has what it takes and he shall be, will be the principal challenger.
I'll tell you why I ask you this question, because very recently Mr. Rajnath Singh has drawn a parallel between Mahatma Gandhi and Narendra Modi. He says that there is no other, in terms of understanding the society, the people of this country, there is no other parallel in Indian history. Modi equals Modi.
Well, I am very sure that... I am very sure that the Honorable Defence Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, won't say the exact same things if you were to speak with him off camera. Having said that, I think it is unfair to draw a parallel between two politicians or two leaders of this country. I think everyone is unique in its own way. But the larger point, Sanket, is that a new vocabulary of politics is required, and that is why I gave the example of Jayaprakash Narayan of the 1977 election. That a new brand of politics, a new vocabulary of politics is required, a new idea is required to dislodge the...
So you don't feel any sort of an alliance. Many opposition players feel that Congress has to be, you cannot imagine an opposition to Modi without the Congress in it. This is the JDU's assessment. This seems to be some sort of an assessment of the TMC. What is the Aam Aadmi Party's assessment? Can you imagine a Congress-Mukt opposition to take on the BJP?
Look, I haven't done my mathematics. I haven't done even a back of the envelope calculation, and I've said that coming together of groups is an arithmetic arrangement. However, my view on the Congress party is very clear, that Congress party is proving and is going to prove to be an asset to the BJP. If whenever you have a Congress-led front that is going to benefit only the BJP, that is going to suit only the BJP, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi is perhaps the biggest and the most valuable, perhaps invaluable asset for Prime Minister Modi.
My final question, and this is a question related to this fight that you are having in Delhi. You said that this is a brand new politics which you have introduced. The manner in which elections are fought, which Aam Aadmi Party has, has cracked the formula. This constant fight that you have in Delhi with the Lieutenant Governor. Very recently, you have accused him on charges of corruption. You've seen that he is... exercising legal recourse against your leaders. Is this that brand new fight that you're talking about? Because I remember earlier on this was called
Sanket,
shoot and scoot. And many people got back to Aam Aadmi Party saying that whenever you have alleged like this, you have always had to go to court to apologize and say sorry.
Okay. First of all, these attacks and the use of state instruments like the CBI, ED or the office of the Lieutenant Governor to dislodge a democratically functioning government in Delhi is directly proportional to the growing popularity and the mass base that is coming in favor of Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party at an India level. These two things are directly proportional. The more Arvind Kejriwal popularity rises, the more will be the number of attacks on the Aam Aadmi Party, its legislatures, its ministers. The idea is very simple. Aam Aadmi Party's Kejriwal model of governance is based on two big pillars. One is health, the other is education. They have already put a health minister in jail on some frivolous grounds, and they're likely to put our education minister also in jail. The idea is to paralyze the government. And this is not something new. If you were to rewind back to the days of 2015-16, you would find the then Lieutenant Governor Mr. Najib Jung also did something similar. Delhi police filed more than 5 dozen cases on our MLAs. Income tax raids happened on our MLAs, etc. But in each and every case, Aam Aadmi Party was acquitted and its leaders were acquitted by court. So therefore, we are used to this. The BJP is going to, up the ante, and we are absolutely cognizant of this. We are waiting for them to up the ante, and we are there to fight them till our last breath. And as far as this, closing or amicable settlement of defamation cases is concerned, I've said this again. I will say it once more on your channel that. In order to save time of a democratically elected government and ministers and chief ministers, it is best to close defamation cases rather than go to court every now and then.
Now that is convenient. That I alleged and then I said sorry. And then I moved on.
No, absolutely not. At one point in time, the Honorable Chief Minister and people like me had more than 100 cases against, against us.
Okay.
And we ended up spending all our time in court. So we realized that there is no point fighting a court battle. It is best to go to the people, seek their mandate and do the work that we've been elected to do.
Right. Raghav Chadha, thank you very much for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.